Proper story's supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky. He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble. Ground forms up under his feet as it pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why. Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion. He sees what's left of the rippling walls, years of work undone in an instant, in the calamity. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Kid just rages for a while. An old repeater falls out of the sky. Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do. Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink. Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her. A school of squirts tunnels up around him. He sets foot inside one of Celandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him before his drinking did. Rondi always wanted his ashes scattered here. Then Kid finds his trusty shield. But just as he's getting a handle on it, the security takes him for a petty thief. Clang! Shield saves his hide. Windbags start turning up for last call. More squirts start coming out of the woodwork. A big old fella pops out in front of the kid. Sees the way to the Bastion out the window. It's a bit of a drop. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke. Kid spies a good perch for some target practice. He knows he should draw the string all the way back. The kid pockets a memento from a breaker, once the fastest man in the land. Wasn't long before the kid could loose an arrow, strong and true. Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid. Right back at you. Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome. He's a mighty fast learner. finds the distillery, right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man. The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job. Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins. Ferry barge sends the kid on his way. The Bastion's real close now. Takes a chunk of alloy, smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. Kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did. Puts him out of his misery. Robs a scumbag of his last meal. He finds the core to the wharf district. He steals the city's heart. Might as well. See, that core kid took was the only thing making this particular rock stay afloat. Kid just keeps running. Somersault like crazy. At last, the skyway's in sight. Whisks him where he needs to go. Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races. Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. We talk for a spell. There's a bit of the Bastion's power in that crest, enough to point the way to the cores. All I tell him is to set that core of his on the monument there, then watch. I try to let the kid down gently. This is the Bastion, all right. Said no one else showed up. And just like that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again, growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power to good use. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid ponders what to build. The Bastion's a place of peace, but we can hold our own if we have to. A repeater goes with a hammer better than a box of nails.
Okay. There's our intro. I did it silently so you could hear the narration. So, this Bastion, it's a bit of a dated game at this point, but it is still one of my favorites. So, this is going to be one of the first games that I demo, promo, talk about on my YouTube channel. And one of the first things I want to point out is as I moved through the intro areas here, I tried to keep my health as high as possible and use the special ability sparingly. This allows you to get extra experience, though sadly this doesn't scale very well throughout the game. It just gives you 10 experience per potion or tonic that you pick up while being full. But it can be meaningful in the early game, just a little bit. So, I built the arsenal first. You can choose to do the distillery. I am level 2, so I could have done a second spirit drink. But the early spirits aren't tremendously powerful or useful at this point. So, let's just keep going.
Kid don't know what's out there waiting for him. The Skyway. Now the kid can ride the wind to distant lands. Now he lands at the intersection between bad and wrong. Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one? No white gas fellas all dressed alike. Kids wondering the same thing. And there it is, but it's locked down tight in an alloy cage. He heads for the biggest dump in town. Scumbag alley. Almost like he's showboating for the crowd. And there he is. The oldest scumbag of them all. Gershel. Keeps telling himself he better watch his step. Shame
There we go.
Gershel can't float like when he was a young fella. The rest of the path is gone for good, and his city crest won't bring it back. No core, no surprise. Like the gas fellas are hiding it from him. He heads for the east side, where windbags used to keep the local forge. Never much cared for that big wide grin of his. Somehow that old forge is still standing. Inside the forge, Key can fine-tune those instruments of his.
The upgrade system of Bastion is pretty fun. You can do a lot of different kinds of builds. They're pretty simple, but gives a nice little progression curve. I think it's good game design. It feels great. It's understandable. It's not complicated. I'm just going to go with bonus damage, but you can switch back and forth. you've never played this game, I highly recommend it. But
Core ain't here neither, so it's
probably likely that many of you have. So a lot of my ideas and suggestions here are probably very dated.
He heads for the squirt steps. Won't be no field trip this time. His gun bag can digest just about anything. Except for this. It's quick for slicing and light enough to throw. They say even the most rambunctious squirts can be tamed. No
I'm
sign
not
of
terribly
Core
good with
here.
the melee
Got
weapons,
something for his trouble.
preferring a lot of the bigger guns and such that you get later.
Squirts don't make the best of friends, but they can be useful in a pinch.
So because I used my special, this little squirt's gonna fight Big Boss Baddie and everyone else is just gonna stand there. Guy in front here I rolled into and I think aggroed him that way.
Now there's a new marshal.
There we go. And they'll just all leave. Fun little things.
He hears the whole place groan, but it's too tough to fall. Kid's ready to go, and his ticket out's right where he started.
And there we go.
He comes back, just like I knew he would. The core hums in his pack. The monument's calling for it. The windbags used to be alright. Then the calamity took the floor out from under him. Kid does it again. Only fair he decides what we build next.
I like building the forge second because then you can actually upgrade your weapons pretty quickly.
A lot of things need fixing up.
In this case, I don't really care about these two weapons too much. The bow is a little bit slow until you have a bunch of upgrades and kind of relies on power shot a little bit. And the machete is just so close up that once you get into activating difficulty levels with the gods or the idols in the shrine, the game gets a little too hard in melee range. You really don't ever want to be there. So I'm going to say this is it for the first video. I think we've covered some pretty good stuff here, just the intro here. I plan to, going forward, I plan to get at least one video out a week. It may be a game like Bastion, it may be a mod, or an older game like Diablo, Diablo 1, Diablo 2, something like that. Or it may be something to do with monogame, programming, or whatnot. So I'll keep y'all posted and stop the stream here.